Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we have to talk about Tonix Pharmaceuticals. And yes, for those of you guys who are AFFU shareholders, I have a video coming as well. Unfortunately, I only have so much time in the day, and so I have a queue of videos that I kind of go by, and I have certain topics that I plan in advance. Sometimes they're on a whim. But I want to talk about Tonix today because it has been a bit since I've talked about Tonix. Now, this is after the news, right? So everything we expected happened in terms of like the good news that we wanted to happen for Tonix. But the problem is that even though we had good news, the good news did not result in a share price increase. And so now what we have to remember is that following this, here's some news, for example, that just came out on September 18th, which was yesterday. Tonix Pharmaceuticals announced its positive pre-IND meeting with FDA for Tonix 102SL for the treatment of major depressive disorder. It says a 12-minute read. I don't know how long this is, but so it's not too long. But you can read this one, for example. Tonix Pharmaceuticals holding a fully integrated biotechnology company with marketed products and a pipeline of development candidates today announced the successful completion of a Type B investigational new drug meeting with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, regarding the development of TNX 102SL, sublingual I can't even pronounce that, for the treatment of major depressive disorder. The company received positive feedback from the FDA and plans to pursue a supplemental new drug application, SNDA, to expand the therapeutic indication of TNX 102SL to include MDD, based on exploratory findings that suggesting that improving sleep quality may be positively impacting depressive symptoms. So I'll let you check this link out here. Seeking Alpha, right? This also came out on September 17th. Tonix Pharmaceuticals gets global rights to Lyme disease treatment. So here we are. Tonix Pharmaceuticals has secured global rights to monoclonal antibody TNX 4800 for the treatment of Lyme disease in humans. This 4800 is for yearly use with a single dose given in the spring to provide protection against Lyme disease. So more good news, right? Here we are. Now, Lyme disease, this is pretty much the same. Yeah, TNX 48100. The potential market includes 70 million people living in Lyme disease endemic areas in the U.S. TNX 4800 works by blocking, Borrelia. Anyway, but yeah, so positive news there. And meanwhile, it's even today, it looks like. Let me double check here, make sure. Hold on. I'm sorry. No, it's not. It's down 8%. That was from earlier. I had this video planned before I went to work today. So anyway, it's down 8%. And so over the last month, it's down 27%, up 42% in the last 6 months though. So you can look at it from one of two ways. The stock is down over the last month after the news, kind of a sell the news event. The news came out, everybody's like, all right, whatever. And quite honestly, I thought we might have a better reaction. Because if you remember last December when this thing did in fact 10x, I thought we might get some hype, some excitement, some people buying in on a frenzy because, and I think it really has to do with the fact that it was expected. So when you have an expected piece of news, looking back at it, the reaction is not as strong as something unexpected, right? So a black swan event, in a positive sense, a black swan event that actually is good for the stock, right? So over the last 6 months, up 42%. So you could be like, look, we're beating the market. Now, gold is up. I don't know how much. Is it beating the price of gold? I know that's another one we've talked about on the channel recently. Gold prices, okay, so we're, I guess, beating the price of gold right now, right? I mean, we're, because that's basically the benchmark right now in terms of gold's been on a tear, right? It's doing better than the stock market, I would argue, right now. QQQ over the last 6 months, what are we up? The last 6 months? 25%. So you could, this is going to be a highly volatile stock though. Always remember that. We're at a $227 million market cap. This is a small cap stock. If we look at the Russell 2000 index, for example, small caps, look at this one, right? Down 6 months in the last, it's up 18%, right? But if you look at the last year, for example, it's up 8%. Okay, 8% in the last year. So the Russell has really lagged behind compared to a lot of the other indexes. And so over the last 5 years, we're up 59%. But that's going to be a big thing, I think, especially as interest rates go down. You're going to see small caps do quite well. So keep an eye not just on tech, not just on AI, but kind of these under the radar opportunities like small cap stocks that have been kind of waiting in the wings here. Look at this from 2020, 2021. Has the Russell really done that good? I mean, we're just at the cusp, I think, of a breakout here, especially as interest rates come down. And that is going to be positive for stocks like TNXP. Now, it looks bad in the short term, right? Now, in the last year, it's up 73% from the equivalent of $15 or 15 cents before the split happened. But yeah, here we are. Like, we're actually doing okay. So it's all a matter of perspective. We're kind of in a sideways trading pattern. But, here's the thing. The news is very positive. There's a lot of positive developments coming for this stock that I don't think have been priced in yet. And I think as soon as we get financials on a lot of this stuff and we start seeing results, investors are on Wall Street can be very short-term focused. And a lot of even the big firms are just looking at earnings data and just looking at signs of growth, right? They want to see revenue. They want to see the numbers. They want to see the earnings growth. They want to see all of that before making a decision. Because to them, if you're a money manager, it might be too speculative or too risky until we see the results. Even though they've gotten approval for their drug, for their the TNX 102SL, and now they're getting approval for TNX, what was it, 480, I think it was, TNX 4800. All this positive news is coming up. Now, there's been some rumors about dilution. Now, as of August 11th, this has not been updated. We're looking at 8.7 million shares outstanding. So I don't know how accurate this is. I can try to find more information on the shares outstanding because I don't know 100% exactly how many shares outstanding. But this is the data as of August 11th. So according to the transfer agent, how many shares outstanding? 8.77 million as of the most recent update. I don't think there's been any more offerings. I think there would be notifications or filings that would have to take place for these types of things. If you're going to sell $100 million worth of stock into the open market, you probably need to let investors know about that, especially if you're a publicly traded company and you're trying to raise money, about a new issuance happening, right? So when you think about that, and also the fact that we have the cash runway up until the third quarter of 2026, and TNXP has a lot of cash right now. According to one of their press releases, they said they have it up until 2026. And so by then, we're going to start getting financials. We're going to start getting, now this looks disastrous, okay, I'll admit, with all the reverse splits, absolutely. But here we are, right? So 52-week high, $130 or $1.30. Man, that was nice. That was a nice day. But I wish I would have sold at $1.30. I still didn't even get $1.30 out of it. But still, it was fun. So here we are. And last year up 73%. Like I said, there's a lot of positive news happening. We're just under $250,000 market cap. Remember, we're not only targeting fibromyalgia, we're targeting all these other drugs that are seemingly getting approved, and there's a lot of positive news coming out. They've secured global rights to the treatment of Lyme disease, essentially. So that's like amazing. Do they have a monopoly on now fibromyalgia and Lyme disease? I mean, or I guess the monoclonal antibody itself, they have clinical rights to, right? So this is good. And we just have to, price action is so short term sometimes, volatility, buyers and sellers are going to do what they're going to do. But you have to focus on the fundamentals. And so that's what I would say. Keep an eye on dilution. Keep an eye on those types of things. If you see the stock price continuing to go down and down and down, I would start to ask some questions. But as of right now, I haven't seen any indication of that. And let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Anyway, hope you all are doing well out there. I'll have many more videos coming soon. I just have to find more time to make them. I'm working like 12, 13-hour shifts right now. So I'm trying to find time to make as many videos as possible and cover as many stocks as possible, news and all that kind of stuff. But I really appreciate everybody's support on the channel. Real quick, I just launched this. Now, this will be part of a pro subscription. If you're interested, you can come on over to the link in the description, but check it out. So TNXP, generate report. You want to find a report on TNXP? We have an entire AI research team that does all the work for you. You just put it in, and boom, you'll get a result. You'll get the exact share price, $26, exactly where it's trading at right now. pretty much. It'll even generate research reports. So TNXP research reports, you can download them into a PDF. It has all the information, right? An executive summary and everything. It has the confidence level, has the potential upside. So you can check this out if you're interested. It'll give you basically a bull/bear case and some fundamental analysis information, technical information, right? Support levels, resistance. And so like I said, I created this. It gives you risk assessments and then also like thinking about where the stock is right now and what we need to think about. So and then strategy, of course, right? So you have like, what's the strategy? What should we think about? What are our profit targets? All that kind of stuff. So you can check this out in the description below if you're interested. Anyway, once again, I created this myself. So this is something that, and I did do it with the help of this app down here. It is helpful. I'm not an affiliate with them. I'm not, I don't have an affiliate link with them. I'm not trying to make money, but you can use that little icon down in the description, just a hint. If you're interested in building something like this, that's exactly what I did. And so I'm still working on it. It's a project, but if you're, like I said, we have a lot of free resources here. We have an entire investment academy that is like amazing in terms of the education you'll get if this thing would load. So you'll be able to look at basically any kind of like articles, information on investing, check it out, create an account on Daily Investment Advice. You can get access to all this for free. And then come on over to the market news and get information on the top stories, especially when the market's open. Now, crypto is open 24/7. You'll see a lot of these like in the last hour. Sometimes you'll see them update in 5 or 10 minutes. It just depends on what news is breaking out there. But this is all stuff that can help you as an investor if you're interested. Got some free resources, got some paid resources if you're interested in those. But check it out below. Thank you so much for everybody's support on the channel, as always. And we will see you in the next one. Take care.